The price race to the bottom is one of the biggest problems in web design right now. Here's the formula we use to break the cycle. This is for web designers who are really passionate about getting good business results for their clients and making sure that things work out really well for you too. So let's do two things. Thing number one, let's take a look at the theory behind how you actually break the cycle. And then thing number two is, how about a practical example that you could actually use right now? And I'll give you a 7-pillar solution-first agency concept that demonstrates everything that we're about to talk about. And can we do all of that in one video? Yes, we can. Let's do it right now. Okay, so the theory is, what's the problem? The problem that we're trying to solve is that creativity is inefficient, almost by definition, because you're creating new things all the time rather than reusing things. And that creative process takes a lot of time. And that's where the margins go. Like, that creative process eats your margins. It's sort of like, think about like Elon Musk and like the spaceships and the rockets and stuff. It's like, traditionally speaking, the biggest problem with like shooting rockets up all the time is like every time you launch a rocket, you pretty much have to rebuild the whole thing to launch it again. And that's why it's so expensive to do space stuff. And so that what that means is like that creative, like that building creative process is the difference between like rocket ships and cars, where you like buy a car one time and then you just reuse the car all over the place. And so it's really inexpensive to travel in cars, very expensive to travel in rocket ships. What are we talking about rocket ships and cars? But hopefully the point is somewhat clear that if you take the creative process out and do it one time and reuse that over and over, then you get faster sales cycles, higher profit margins, and clients will get better results because you've got a system that works, that you've done a bunch of times, that you're really, really good at, as opposed to it just being kind of your first rodeo. Okay, so that's the theory about how to like bundle together all the creative stuff first and then reuse it, and that's that. What about the example? Well, let's take a look at a 7-pillar solution-first agency concept that you could reuse right now if you wanted to. So this is going to be in the context of like photographers. So someone said, hey, Lee, build a solution-first agency for photography. The first thing that I would say is, what kind of photographers are we talking about? And in this example, we're going to be looking at portrait photographers, because there's all different kinds of, there's like real estate photography, food photography, crime photography. There's all different kinds of photography, and they would all get leads in different ways. So I want to make sure that the solution that I'm building is going to work for all the people I'm targeting. And therefore I need to target portrait photographers, because this is how they're going to get leads. Okay, so now we got the target out of the way. That's the biggest and most important first thing, because without that, you can't do any of the other parts. And then I start thinking, what about the pillars for the solution? So pillar number one would be the website and the branding. It's like the website is going to be the home for all the other stuff we talk about. So that's really important. Branding is really important, especially with photography, where image is everything. So pillar one, website and branding. Number two would be hosting, maintenance, and support, because that website's got to live somewhere. It's got to stay healthy. And there's probably going to be little miscellaneous tasks that come up throughout each month where you don't want to send off 15-minute invoices, but you don't want to do the work for free either. So we just bill $100 a month for hosting, maintenance, and up to an hour of our time doing things. So that's pillar number two. Number three, I'd start thinking about local SEO a lot, because I know with portrait photographers, there's a lot of people typing in kind of service in location type keywords, looking for photographers in their area. So at least once a month, I would do a blog post that was kind of targeting service in location keywords. Here's some examples of some blog posts that I might write. Top 5 locations for senior pictures in Williamsburg without a location fee. So now we got senior pictures as the service, in Williamsburg is the location, and it's like a cool article. It's like top 5 locations without a location fee, meaning that you can go there and take pictures without having to pay the location a fee to do the photography there. That's pretty cool. So I would write that, and you've got a really cool service in location blog post. Here's a couple of other examples. Let's do 2 more examples for blog posts. Trending fashion for bridal portraits in Virginia. So that'd be Bridal Portraits, it's the service in Virginia, that's the location. And what are the trending fashions? I want to know, right? It's like, it's the kind of article that people would be really curious about, maybe share with other people. One more just for fun. My favorite location for candid street photography in Williamsburg. So street photography is the service, in Williamsburg is the location, and it's my favorite location. Do you want to see what it is? It's like, yeah, I want to see. And so that's a really cool article that people would want to look at and share. So that's kind of local SEO. If you want our whole local SEO guide, we've got that in Blue Theory. You can check that out. It's like 20 different things that you can do without having to subscribe to any platforms or anything to get a lot better results for local SEO. And this is just one of the ideas, the service and location searches. But the next thing that I would do is I'd set up a Google business profile for the photographer, because you want to get good reviews, you want to rank well in Google Maps, and setting up a Google business profile is like You really ought to do that if you have a local business. And also, if you want to know more about doing that, we have a whole Google Business Profile kind of boot camp with like over 20 different ways to maximize the leads that you get from your Google Business Profile in Blue Theory. I'll put a link in the description for Blue Theory if you want to check that out. But I just set up a Google Business Profile. Here's another one. This one's really big. The email list aspect of that. I mean, almost all the photographers I know, at least at first, have overlooked this component of their business. A lot of photography is very cyclical in nature, like annual oftentimes. So if, like, for example, if you did a wedding today, next year is going to be the anniversary. So what if you had a database of all of the clients that you have and like when you did the work for them so that you can then remind them, hey, we did the wedding this last year. Do you want me to come out for some anniversaries pictures this year? It's like, yes, that'd be great. Or like newborn pictures. If you did the newborn pictures today, the first birthday is next year. Or one of the things that we do, so I've got 5 kids, and one of the things that we've done for like the past 19 years is every year we hire a photographer to come out with us to some kind of cool location, and we take a lot of family pictures. And then we print out yearbooks for ourselves so that we can kind of look back and kind of watch the kids grow up over all that time with these like photo books that are actually printed out on pages in books. And it's great. It's like I really cherish those things. And it's annual in nature. So it's like, if I was a photographer, I'd be like, hey, Lee, we did those family pictures last year. Do you want to do another set this year? I'd be like, yes, I do. Thanks for reminding me. Let's set it up. And so now you've got recurring revenue from all of those repeat clients. And you'd be nuts not to set that up. It's like, it's so low-hanging fruit. But I'd also do one for warm leads as well, so that you can kind of nurture those warm leads into becoming paying clients for the first time. So I'd focus on email list building. The next thing that I would do is a client portal. So a client portal for photographers is really important because you want to have a place to share the pictures and say, hey, I think I'd buy these, and maybe download the prints and charge for that, and get these photo books we were just talking about, have a way to sell those, and just like have a nice way for the photographer to like give people tangible stuff from the pictures they just took, as opposed to just handing somebody a thumb drive and be like, there you go, that's all I got. It's like, you don't want that. It's like you're missing out on a huge opportunity by not having a client portal. But you don't have to build one from scratch. There's ones out there. Like I'll put a link in the description to CloudSpot. Not sponsored or anything. It's just a good platform. But it's got all that stuff built into it where you can like download prints of different resolutions and photo books and canvases and all different kinds of things that are all just built into that platform. And to integrate it in with the website, you can just put a link in the navigation that bops people over to this client portal. So it's super easy to integrate, high value for the photographer, high value for their clients. Like everybody's winning. It's a great idea. I would definitely put that in the solution. And then the last thing that I would do is I would focus some more on lead generation for new leads. And I'd probably put an emphasis on partnerships where, you kind of make some relationships with people that do hair and makeup or maybe different venues where pictures are often taken, like places where people have weddings and stuff like that. And schools and sports teams, they all take pictures and stuff. I'd try to get relationships and partnerships with those people. And boom, that's the offer. I would do all 7 of those things, and that would be a really cool thing. And now you've thought through all that stuff. You can do it one time and just reuse that same pattern over and over and over for all the photographers that you onboard into your business. Let me know if that makes sense. If that does, give me a thumbs up. I love the like. Plus, say something in the comments to me. Let me know if you feel like you might want to reuse that solution, or if you want to work with me a little bit more on it. Just drop a note below, and we can continue the conversation there. And again, Blue Theory is down there too if you want to check out any of the other stuff. But there's a catch. There's one big catch with this whole thing, which is the way that you get leads for your site. Like if you build up a website that's going to focus on a solution-first agency, like we just talked about, as opposed to a traditional agency, invariably the question comes up was like, hey, Lee, if I switch my site from a traditional site where I'm talking about web design and SEO and graphic design and all the different services that I offer, and then I move that over to more like a solution-first agency where I'm talking about photography, how are people going to find me on Google if I'm not talking about the different kinds of things they're searching for? And that is a very interesting point, because the way you get leads for solution-first agencies is radically different from how you get leads for a traditional agency. And I put a whole video right here. I'll show you 5 ways to get leads for a solution-first agency and how that differs from a traditional agency. So check out that video, and I'll see you right there.